Welcome to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. Today we're going to do a range report on the Canik TP9SFX and the Springoco spring kit. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. So today we're going to do a range report on the Canik TP9SFX competition model. Some people might pronounce it Canik or Yannick or Canik or whatever. I pronounce it Canik, just kind of old habits, I guess. Whatever. So if you follow my channel, I've done quite a few videos on this already, kind of the build out. It's like 40 minutes long of stuff I did before I even took it to the range and shot it. I knew these are things I wanted to add. I didn't want to have to revert back to learning anything without this stuff on it. So in other words, I didn't take it stock and go to the range, shoot it, kind of get proficient, and then go and add all this stuff and then have to go back and kind of get muscle memory back the way I needed it. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and I did in that video, was change out the recoil spring. According to some of the experts out there, that this gun is oversprung from the factory. In other words, they have a hard time cycling, you know, things like the 115 grain ammo, things like that. So it's a little oversprung, they say. So in other words, the springs are a little stiff. So one of the things to combat that, obviously, is to change out the springs. So in that video, the first video I did, I changed it out with a factory replacement from Century Arms, and it's a lighter spring. The problem is, I noticed as soon as I installed it, there was an issue. And it may not matter to some people, and it may not matter in the grand scheme of how it shoots, but I'll show you the test you can tell if you've changed one spring and not all of them. So if you'll, this gun is obviously cleared, no magazine, no ammo on the table. If you cock the firearm back and you pull the trigger and this slide all of a sudden slightly moves forward during that process, you've got a spring issue. So one of these springs, it's usually attributed to the striker spring pulling back on that slide. And this because you've weakened this spring and not weakened this spring, the resistance is stronger pulling to the back. So what's going to happen is when you pull this trigger, this thing is going to be slightly out of battery, not really to the point of probably failure, but it's not good for the firearm, okay? So I noticed that after I installed it, I started noticing little things like that about it. I said, why is it doing that? And I get to looking, did a little more research, and decided to order a complete Springoco kit. Now, Springoco makes competition springs. They make replacement springs for a lot of different things. After I placed my order, Alan noticed I had placed my order, and he called me. Matter of fact, called me on a Sunday afternoon, just out of the blue. I look at my phone, and it says Springoco. And I said, well, I just ordered from them. And so I talked to Alan at length, a couple different conversations. Really nice guy, really helpful, really obviously insightful when it comes to springs and the importance of a gun being balanced with springs. And because he knew I had a YouTube channel, he actually offered to send me a couple extra things. I want to say thanks, Alan, for that, and appreciate him doing that. But let's look at the springs that we replaced, and then we'll do a trigger pull test. I won't go into all the other things that I changed. There's a video showing the complete breakdown of everything that I changed out. Pointed in the safe direction, striker down, slide off. So here's the springs you're going to replace. You're going to replace the recoil spring itself. Alan at Springoco, his design is a two-piece design. So you actually have a smaller spring and a larger spring. And so it's kind of a neat design. It actually helps with recoil and also helps against what I call slide and frame damage. Not so much damage, but more of that violent reaction. So this slows the firearm coming back and going down into the lock position again. You're also going to change out this plunger spring, which is right here. One of the things Alan talked about, if you have a trigger that feels a little gritty on especially the take-up portion, that a lot of times is contributed to the coating that they coat these firearms with. Overspray has gotten down inside this plunger area. He said polish that out and you'll correct that grittiness feel. But there's that spring there and here. Then you're also going to change out the striker spring, which is in here, and you access it from here. I won't go into details of how to do that. There's a couple of videos floating around of how to do that. You're also going to change out this spring here, which is the trigger spring itself. If you look, manipulates the spring right there like that with it. Once this thing was totally changed out, I noticed a difference in a lot of different things with it, just by, you know, simple manipulation of the slide, trigger press, things like that. Let's check a trigger pull. The thing you want to look for in a trigger pull, yes, a light, crisp trigger pull everybody talks about, but another thing is consistency. You don't want it breaking at 3 pounds one time, 4 pounds the next, 3.5 pounds. You want kind of get it as consistent as possible. So let's take a look at this one. I've got my Wheeler. This right here is the analog version trigger pull scale. Let's take a look. This one is hard to do because it doesn't have that little shoe on the end of it there that fits on Glock style safety triggers, but we'll make it work. So let's see where this one breaks at now. So that's at just at 3.5 pounds. Let's check it again. You want consistency, guys. Right at 3 pounds. Let's try that again. £3. I don't think I'm on that. This thing is hard to keep on that little trigger shoe. £3.5. This thing normally breaks almost every time at 3.5 pounds. £3.5. Try it again. £3.5, almost exact. Again, one more time, just for good measure. So this one, it is so consistent. There's no, a lot of times you'll try getting an average. So you'll write them all down, divide them out by the times you did it, just to get an average. Almost 3.5 pounds exact again. One more time. £3.5, almost exact again. So that's what you're looking for, guys. You're looking for that 3.5, you know, with a striker fire, polymer frame, 3.5 pounds. And I will show you the trigger and reset. So if you look, there's a little bit of take up. This is a Freedom Smith trigger. Got a little bit of take up. See that right there? That's what you got. And then you hit the wall, 3.5 pounds. There's the take up. Watch. I mean, these are super nice triggers. They're nice from the factory. You get them sprung correctly, or at least sprung, I won't say correctly, sprung better. How about that? And then this Freedom Smith trigger, it is just hard to beat that, guys. I mean, the only trigger that I've seen that comes close to that is like one of my old 2011, 1911 style guns. It's just really nice. But anyway, guys, TP9SFX, if you're looking for a budget, you know, competition style pistol that you can go out and compete with the big guys pretty consistently. And when I say that, people are going to say, you're not going to beat, you know, a 2011 STI, whatever. If you take a really good shooter, somebody that's really proficient at match style shooting, give them this gun, and then give a novice or an average shooter an STI, you know, that's $3,800, $4 grand, $4,200 kind of price, and let them shoot against one another, most likely the guy shooting the Canik will win every time. it's able to compete on that level depending on the shooter. So could it hinder a really high efficient shooter that's used to a 2011 style pistol? Yes, it possibly. But if you train with this gun and you can hold your own, trust me. And especially in different divisions, things like that. But I'm thankful for Springoco and other companies out there, Taylor Freelance. There's a lot of them out there now that have aftermarket parts for this, for either competition or personal defense style use. But I appreciate those folks for stepping up and having nice stuff available for us. But I want to thank Alan again over at Springoco. He did throw in some lube that he has that you may want to check out. It's called machine gun lube. It's a synthetic style lube that does really well. It's a little thicker than your average like rim oil type stuff. And so far, I've put it on quite a few of my, especially all my competition guns. I've been using it, and I really like it. So if you go over there, I think he includes a little bottle, like a little small bottle sample kind of thing, free. Go ahead and buy the big bottle if you're over at his website when you're ordering stuff. I think you'll like this lube. I think that if you're looking for a nice gun oil, that would be a good one to try getting while you're getting it in your package. But anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you got any questions, post those below. If you got any experience with Springoco or the Canik TP9SFX or any of the aftermarket parts or anything like that, be sure to share that with us. And as always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Bring another video shortly. Have a great day.